Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You haven't seen Wanda in a long time, have you? That's because I've not been doing scrapbook layouts. I bet it's been about a month, maybe longer. You know, I became a card maker. Yes, for a couple of weeks there, I turned and I was a card maker. But I'm back to layouts for now. I do need to make a few more cards to send out, but for now, I got to do my layouts. I want to tell you all something. Wanda came up missing for a few weeks, and she had babies. That's all I'm going to say. It's kind of a riddle, but you'll know what this means shortly. And I don't think they belong to Walter. You all remember Walter, right? This is Walter. And there'll be more on that later this month. So, listen, if I repeat myself, ignore me. I recorded this video, I edited this video, and it wouldn't upload 64,000 times. So now, whenever I have to redo a video, I tend to repeat myself. Heck, I tend to repeat myself when I've only done the video once. So that's what's happening to me. I'm not off my medication. I haven't really flipped out during the holidays. It's just I've recorded and edited this particular video so many times, I can't keep straight what I said already and what I did not. Now, my Mojo was definitely on its Christmas holiday. But I'll tell you who got me in the mood to scrapbook again is RoniSueScrapper. I'm going to look up her name and I will put it right, bing, right there on the screen. Ronnie is kind of new to YouTube, and she's a triple threat. She does cards, she does tags, but it seems that she does a lot of scrapbook layouts. If you guys can, go over and check out her videos. If you like cards, tags, layouts, you'll enjoy Ronnie's work. And she's a great gal too. So I'll leave the address right up here on the screen for you. And Ronnie gave me a challenge this past weekend. She said, let's both challenge each other to do a layout this weekend. So, of course, I had to take her challenge and up it by 3. I actually have 4 layouts to share with you, but 3 of them I did over the weekend. I guess I was on a roll. So, let me share the first one. The background paper is Crate Papers. I think it's the Peppermint collection, but it was their collection put out last Christmas. This cardstock is just that Recollections card packs, 8.5 by 11s. This vellum is so old. I'm surprised when I picked it up it didn't turn into ashes, because I've probably had it for 6-7 years. But now I'm glad I bought it 6 or 7 years ago. Anyway, I outlined it. I did tick marks around this. I outlined that, this. All the outlining I did to hopefully pull this busy background and this busy layout together. You guys know I love a busy patterned background, but it never works for me. You'll see I matted my picture. I wish I would have used a brighter matte. I think that would have separated the picture from this busy background a little bit more. I don't know. I'm going to try it, but you'll see I made that mistake twice in 4 layouts. I did this little guy on my Cricut. It is from the Jolly Holidays collection, and he's 5 inches. This was all together. I embossed his little overalls and his hat using my Cuttlebug with the Swirly Q embossing folder. I put some stickles here on his little hat. I stamped his face using Peachy Keen stamps. Love those things. And you see his face? I actually colored that in using my Copics. That's not colored cardstock. It was a white marker paper. And I stamped it and then colored him in using my Copics. You know, once you start using those Copics, you feel like, I don't know, well, this is what I feel like. I can't say what you feel like, but I feel like no cardstock can give you that same look, real skin look like Copic. So, of course, I gotta make everything more difficult on myself, but I colored it in, did some shading, and listen, you know, I'm definitely not a Copic expert, and I know they say when you color in using your Copics, you're supposed to think like, okay, the sun is up here and it's shining down on your subject. And then you shade around it to give it shadow. What I think most of my Copic colorings look like is that they're perhaps, possibly, maybe a solar flare going on, because it's like shaded here, shaded there, and if you look at it and try to imagine where the sun would be shining, you're sitting there thinking, am I on Mars? Is there 4 suns in Vicky's universe? But here's my whole moral of the story. I just went through that whole thing about Mars and sun just to make this point. Instead of using colored cardstock, I used white cardstock. It's that Nina stuff that I picked up at like Simon Says Stamp or something. And then I used my Copics for this. I do think it looks better than if I just used colored cardstock for his face. What else? I have little bells on his toes. Those are from Doris. I put, these little stars are from Studio Calico. I put a little glitter on them to give them some zing. And the rest is self-explanatory. This is our first apartment, and that's our Christmas tree from 1994, and I'll zoom in. On to the next one. I am working on a scrapbook album that will just be a hodgepodge of layouts from the Christmases. I guess you could pretty much say it's the Christmases before we had grandkids. And for now, I'm just putting it all in one D-ring binder, and it will be considered Christmas from the past. And so this will go into that album. Most of my albums are dated by year, like 2007, 2008, 2009. Last year, I did things a little different. I usually make an album of Christmas only. 2011, I put the Christmas layouts in my 2011 album. Why did I do that, you say? Last year, I had a lot of great photographs of our family and the grandsons, because they did a lot of things last year. Like they went to the circus, they went to the museum, they went to Kings Island. So I thought it would be nice this year to sit out an album of the whole year, including Christmas last year. Usually I just set the Christmas albums out. And I'll tell you, everyone really enjoys looking at those Christmas albums. Well, I figured we all love the grandsons, and we got some great pictures last year, so I just thought I'd set the whole thing out, and it would be 2011 in review. I'm telling you something. I like it so much, I may do that from now on. Although my 2011 scrapbook album is humongous. I mean, it is probably 7 inches thick. But I embellish a lot. So anyway, I just thought I would share that with you. I've had a couple of people, since I've been here on YouTube to ask how I do my albums, and mainly it is by the year. I also have like an album of Florida pictures, and it's from all the years of going to Florida. Eventually I'll have to branch out to probably 2 albums, because that's how many photos I have of us living or being in Florida. I also have an album of Mama Mondays, and that's just pictures that I have of Nate through the years since he's a little teeny tiny guy, and time that we spent together, because my day to babysit him was Monday and half of Tuesday. So anyway, I have different little themed albums, but most pictures go in the year. This is myself. That's me, and that's me. And the other is family members. You'll see this picture is from 1972, and this is from 2000. It's the same people. This is her, that is her, and that's me. And I thought it'd be kind of cool to put the now and then photo together. I don't think I really even had to say this is me and that's her. You can still definitely see the resemblance with ourselves. Okay, that probably didn't make sense. But anyway, the background is Coordinations Java Bean. And I'm going to tell you something. If you like a craft cardstock and you like texture on your background papers, you've got to pick this up. I grabbed just 4 sheets at Joann a couple of weeks ago when it was on sale, and oh, I wish I would have picked up more. But it's on my list. This is just some old ivory smooth cardstock I had in my stash. This is Doodlebug North Pole. This is Studio Calico Mittens from the Wonderland collection. You can see I inked around the edges using my Ranger ink. I'm sorry guys, I tend to be talking through my nose a little bit. I'm still a little stopped up. Anyway, I did mat this on black cardstock to hopefully make it stick out from the papers. I went along and used my Fisker's notebook or notepad punch on the papers across the top, because that kind of reminded me of the mittens pattern. These are strictly 4x6 photographs. I did not cut them down. Both of the numbers here are from October Afternoon Sticky Alphabets. The windows are from Webster's Royal Christmas Collection. It is the overlay. I just cut them apart and actually put a little glue along this side over here and stuck it under there so that you didn't see it, come through on the layout. These sequins are from Shelley, who is Love, Create, Laugh. Hi, Shelley! And my little wood veneers are all from Studio Calico. When I zoom in here, you'll see that these little squares are from the Tim Holtz Chit Chat word collection. These alphabets are from Sassafras. This is Eclair by Thickers. And the trim is from Hobby Lobby. Got that for like $1.29 a yard. I'll zoom in. You know, I don't know if it's because this was the first layout I put together after my hiatus from making layouts, but this layout, I was puzzled. I wanted to use the windows. I actually wanted to use the paper that's like this, but just couldn't work it in. And I wanted to use these pictures. I just didn't know where to go or where to start with it. I probably sat with this layout in front of me for overall 3.5 hours. I just really didn't know what to do with this. So I really struggled with this. And the title reads, "No matter what, Christmas was always good." I've left these open so that I could slide journaling down inside, because I'll probably write a pretty long piece of journaling. I want to tell the story of this photograph. My mom took this picture of us, and I want to tell the story of this photo. It does seem like, since the matriarchs of our family have passed on, we just don't do things like we used to, and I don't know, I don't like that at all. It just seems that the family has truly drifted, and we were all so very close, not just the siblings, but aunts and uncles and cousins. I mean, I probably have 30, 40 cousins. We used to all get together every Christmas Day at one of the great aunts' houses. And there would be, at any given time, it ran from 40 to 60 people there. And that's just a really great feeling when you're around 39 to 59 other people who you definitely have something in common with. Your blood is running through their veins and vice versa. And it's people you've known their entire life, your entire life, and they've known you. And we just don't make that happen anymore. But anyway, the Christmases are always good, and so that's the story on that one, and that will go in my Christmases from the Past album. Let me show you the next one. Now, this is another layout that will go in that Christmases of the Past album. And once again, it's relatives on here with me. That's me. That's relatives. I almost told their story. Sorry. Anyway, this is probably one of my favorite. Yeah, it's my favorite layout. It went easy. I knew what I wanted to do. You'll see on her shirt there's this plaid, and then I've got my brown sweater on, and I was thinking, okay, I want to do something brown and do that kind of rustic Christmas look, and things just fell into place on this one. I love when that happens. Anyway, all of the paper is from a Die Cuts with a View stack, and I think that is called Christmas Heritage stack. And I am so sorry if you like this paper, because you're probably not going to find it, because I bought it at Joann about 5 years ago. Remember that like foam stamp that was a scallop and it was about 12 inches long? I think we all had one about 2 years ago here on YouTube. Well, I just turned the brown paper over and stamped using that scallop stamp and then cut it out. But what in the world happened to this scallop? I don't know. I must have had a nervous twitch or something. I might have to go back and trim that, because it looks like a cow udder hanging down there so far. But and I just don't have a good large scallop punch. But I do have ways to make scallops, and that's one. And I'll show you another way I make a scalloped border in a moment. I took my Uniball gel white marker and put a few dots on the polka dots that were on here. Sometimes I just went dot and made a solid dot, and sometimes I made a little tiny circle. I put some stickle dots across the top to kind of make it look glittery. This is a 5x7. The reindeer, I used my Winter Frolic cartridge, and the reindeer range from 2.75 inches tall to 3.25 inches tall. You'll see I dressed them up, embellished them a little bit, put a little bell here, gave them googly eyes. And I've had my Cricut for several years, but you know who taught me how to embellish the cut items is Mel, who is Hearts 1217, and Mary, Card Crazy Mary. I don't know why, but I never really embellished my Cricut cuts before I started watching YouTube. I just cut them out, and however they said to piece it together, I'd piece it together and stick it on my layouts. And you can really work with your Cricut cutouts. Use your imagination. I used a little stickles on their antlers, drew in their faces, and away you go. I made these little stick pins, and some of those beads are from my friend, one of my dear, sweet friends, Laura. Hi, Laura. I hope you're feeling well, honey. And Laura is Laura Loves Lace here on YouTube. Go visit her channel. She does everything, but her passion is scrapbook layouts, just like me. And this trim, I could not tell you where it come from, but it's really cute, and it's got like little itty bitty spots of sparkle in it. I think that tells you everything. Yeah, it does, so let me zoom in. And there you go. Another 12 by 12 for the album. Oh, and of course I had to do at least one 12 by 24 inch layout. Now, I need your true opinion on this layout, please. Please tell me the truth. My feelings won't get hurt. I really liked this layout when I was making it, but I had it on the mantle because what I do is once I'm finished with the layout, most of the time I will put it on my mantle. I can see my mantle right from the couch, so I'll put my layout up there, and randomly I'll just look at it, and I'll kind of like ask myself, does it need something else? Do I need to change anything? And I usually do that 99% of the time. So I finished this layout. I did get the inspiration for this design from a magazine, but unfortunately that was 3 days ago and I've cleaned up and I don't know where the magazine is now. But I really like this when I was working on it. This is one of those layouts that I was like squealing as things came together. But once it was completely finished, I don't know, something's missing. Then I know one thing that's wrong, and I'll point that out in a minute. Then my son says, "Is it done?" And I mean, he was being serious. He stopped to look at it and he was like, "Is it done?" He said, "Why don't you put a big snowman right here?" And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen. He doesn't understand white space, and I don't know. I love white space. I have to fight the urge to put too much stuff on my layouts, but I think I fight that urge so well that I end up not embellishing enough, if that makes any sense. So, what do you guys think? Is this layout done? Now let me tell you, I'm not taking it apart and redoing it. Homie, don't play that. I don't think I've ever done that. I mean, I know that there's some gals on here who go back and they redo their layouts. I'm not going to do that. I don't like to do things twice, unless it's really bad. I mean, like even cooking. If something's not right the first time, I'm not going back at that moment and remaking it. I always try to do my best the first time out of the gate. And listen, if it doesn't work, either it goes in the garbage or it goes in the album. So, what would you do? Would you put something else here? I don't know. Anyway, let me share what's going on here. These are pictures of my Nate 2 weekends ago. And every year we go to see Santa Claus over at Dad's work. And this is just the progressive pictures, and I want to point something out here. He was a little nervous on Santa's lap. He is every year. So he climbs up on Santa's lap, and Santa says, "Ho, ho, ho, what do you want for Christmas?" And Nate says, "I forget." Wait till you see his face. He's so apprehensive. And you can tell how nervous he is in all of these pictures. Well, I skipped around. Santa says, "Do you want a train set?" And he said, "Well, I already have one." He said, "Do you want cars?" And Nate said, "No." He finally gets to video games, and then Nate was like, "Yes, I want video games." So he was very nervous, but I was off to the side taking pictures. These are the pictures that my son's work took for us. Isn't that nice they do that? But anyway, I don't know what was said, but all of a sudden I heard Nate say, "That's my mama." And Santa is like, "Oh boy, that cheered him up." Let me show you these pictures. Okay, right there you can see his face is very apprehensive. He's nervous. And here, and even here. But look when they mention Mama, and they're both looking at me. Look at Nate. I mean, can you see his genuine love for his Mama in this picture? Even Santa Claus got a kick out of it. So I've told the story on my little tags in here. But that's his face when he's looking at his mama. How can you not just want to eat up a kid like that? Somebody who just loves you so much that it's on their face. So that was just so special looking at these pictures. And it was a special feeling when it happened. I didn't know they had captured it on film. So I've told that story on the tags here. Now, let me tell you what I used. The background paper is white basil cardstock. This yellow, mustard, and red paper is the crate paper peppermint line from last year. The red cardstock is Coordinations textured cardstock. This is just random paper from Recollections. They're little paper packets. Let me zoom in over here. See the scallop back there? I made that with my Cricut using my Gypsy. And all I did is pulled up circles in my Gypsy software from my George and Basic Shapes cart. I welded the circles together, just barely touching sides. And then I cut it out. And I cut half of the circles. You know, I cut it right down the middle, because when they came out it looked like a bunch of balls stuck together. But I cut it right down the middle, and it makes a nice scallop for your pages. The trees there by the house, those are cut using my Winter Frolic cartridge. The house is from the die cut sheet in the crate paper peppermint collection. I put some of my sequins from Shelley. Hi again, Shelley. As snow. I cut out the tags using, I think, what did I use? Alphabelicious. I told my story on my tags. You'll see that is a badge from a flare for buttons on Etsy. Just tied a little red satin bow on that. Who doesn't love red satin ribbon? Oh, I love it. That, I used those little numbers, came from the Darling Deer wood veneer alphabets from Studio Calico. My little clothespin is from American Crafts, the Merry Mint collection. A little twine. There's a smash paper clip with a bell stuck on it. And that says, Santa works with Dad. And that's what Nate asked every single year. And the red letters are the doll font from Thickers. And works with are those letters from Studio Calico. Now, I didn't write anything on this one or this one, because I really don't want people taking things out. But let's show you this one. See? And it says side B and card number 5, side A. And I just wrote the story, kind of the caption behind each picture. So, what do you guys think? Here's what I was thinking. I wished I would have used white cardstock here to match these pictures. I think it would have made the pictures pop a little bit more. I loved that the background and this paper was so similar, but it was a little overwhelming. I really wish I would have put white behind the pictures. I feel like this, the red kind of makes it look recessed. Okay, this video is quite long enough, and I gotta get this up so that RoniSueScrapper knows that I did the challenge with her. I hope you're all doing well. I know there's a nasty flu bug out there, and I hope it doesn't bite you. I thank you for your comments and your friendship and for watching. I'll be back soon, because guess what I'm doing today? Well, you want to know what I should be doing or what I am doing? Okay, I'll tell you both. I should be cleaning and cooking and shopping and wrapping presents, but I'm not gonna. I am gonna scrapbook, because I wanna. Let me know what you think.